This is the College Gamers Podcast.
Hello, everybody. Sweet gamers. This is the BlizzCon edition of the College Gamers Podcast. I'm Mike. I am joined by one of the coolest Canadians I know, Ryan Murphy from The Gamers Inn. Hello, sir.
The coolest Canadian you know. I'm sure you know cooler Canadians.
I don't know that many Canadians.
You could boil it down to maybe like the coolest Canadian named Ryan, and then if you met Ryan Reynolds or Ryan Gosling, it'd be the only way you could top that.
They're from Canada?
But yeah.
I didn't know that. Wow.
Yeah, Reynolds is from Vancouver and Gosling is from wherever notebooks are made. I don't know. Cool. I actually don't know where.
Well, you know what?
Gosling's
You're
from.
still cooler than Justin Bieber, so you got that going for you.
Yeah. Okay, that's fine.
Well,
I don't have any rap albums though, so.
Oh darn! You should do that. You and Jocelyn should produce the Gamers Inn rap album.
Yeah,
I would.
Sure,
I'd double my Patreon for that. But
that would go bad, probably.
But let's talk about BlizzCon today because the Gamers Inn last week, you and I predicted. I would say some horribly, some pretty accurately.
Sure.
What we got this week, and I figured we'd kind of start in the same way that we did the Gamers Inn, where we start with StarCraft and work our way down. Any initial thoughts before we get into anything specific?
I did want to get it out of the way right at the beginning in terms of one of our other predictions was the mention of Destiny, and it was mentioned. It got a hey, Destiny's on the launcher, good launch, yay us type thing. And I'm excited about that. If there's one thing we got right, it's that Destiny got more screen time than Diablo. So
that's true. It's kind of sad though, because it's a different game company. But
well, different game company, same publisher. So I guess it's still bad. But Diablo didn't get. I mean, we said we were going to go in order, but like Diablo, never really got the limelight from Blizzard after Diablo 2 because Diablo 3 was like the last thing they kicked down the road after World of Warcraft made it big, right? So when World of Warcraft made it big, StarCraft 2 and Diablo 3 were put on hold so they could just keep this money-making ball rolling. And when they went back to the drawing board, I think StarCraft 2 hit the ground running a little faster than Diablo did. And I mean, I'm not here to say Blizzard doesn't like Diablo. It's one of their core franchises. Of course they like it, but it's weird. How many BlizzCons has there been where one of the three trinities does not get mentioned? And I guess now that Overwatch is this big thing, maybe Overwatch is kind of muscled in on that, similar to what Warcraft did, and they have a hit on their hands and they got to support it.
Yeah,
but no Diablo news.
I would argue that I would say like when Diablo started falling out of favor, Warcraft was kind of where it was at. That was kind of their juggernaut, followed by StarCraft because of the esports scene, and that really kind of left Diablo. The community was there, but I don't think it was as there as those other two games.
No, it's definitely. I mean, you could make the argument it's tied for third. Because StarCraft esports has sort of been put in the shadows by all the MOBAs and card battlers out there. But I mean, you could say it's definitely fourth on the rung for Blizzard franchises. But honestly, I love Diablo. I was not surprised when there was no news, but I was also just kind of like, well, maybe they're setting us up for next year. That's all we can really hope at this point.
Diablo 4 is going to steal the show next year. It's going to be the next big esport.
You go dark for how many years has it been since Reaper of Souls? And then you come back with and we said this on the Gamers Inn, like Blizzard has changed their outlook on how they release products. They announce things, a year. They announce products that are coming out in the next year. So Diablo 4, don't expect it in 2018. I mean, it's just not going to happen because they didn't announce it. Now, if you look at all their announcements that we're going to talk about, all of these are coming out in the next year.
Yeah.
Warcraft hasn't been confirmed, but StarCraft, Hearthstone, Heroes of the Storm, all that stuff is actually happening this year. And that's sort of the new mantra of Blizzard, where they are talking about stuff that's happening now. They're not going to talk about a Diablo 4 that may not see the light of day for another 2 or 3 years. So, and that's what we're going to look at today. I think we're going to see a lot of products that are coming out in the next couple months to before the next BlizzCon. That's sort of the way they roll.
Yeah. I would argue that they have enough IPs now where they can do that. We're back in the day when they only had kind of 3 major games.
Mm-hmm.
They kind of needed to build the hype to keep attention on what they were doing. Where now, because they have there was 5, 6 big games that they currently give attention. They can afford to just announce things a year ahead of time, because they kind of have things constantly going, especially from Hearthstone and Heroes of the Storm, where it seems like every month, every 3 months, we're getting either an expansion or a new hero.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But
yeah, they've been doing a really good job at keeping Blizzard front and center, and even with Destiny 2, when that launched, that put Blizzard front and center, because it was their server technology, their backbone on the PC that was making this thing churn. And I don't know about you, but I have had next to no issues with Destiny 2 on PC, and honestly, that's the biggest surprise of this year. Coming from a console developer on PC, it just doesn't happen. And being a game that was developed by 3 studios with 1 PC support studio, I think that's how it was set up. It's kind of flabbergasting to see that it is working so well. But I'm digressing. So, and I already threw us off the train by talking about Diablo, which is down the list here. So, anyways, no news from Diablo. Good stuff.
Spoiler alert. Jeez, Ryan.
I felt like Diablo needed to be front and center, because it did get the don't show up here anymore kind of treatment at BlizzCon.
It showed up to BlizzCon with no shoes and no shirt, and it was kicked out.
Yeah, no service.
Exactly. Well, let's just dive in here with some StarCraft. I was blindsided by this. StarCraft 2 is going free to play. It looks like up to Wings of Liberty. So it sounds like you still have to buy the other 2 expansions if you want to play them. But yeah, that's pretty cool. I've already bought those games, so I don't know how that affects me. So I should have waited, I guess, maybe.
Yeah, well, StarCraft 2 came out a long time ago, but the cool thing about this is, and yes, it's a blindsiding announcement, where StarCraft 2 being free to play, it felt like a joke prediction that a lot of people had, like, oh, a free to play Diablo would be great, a free to play StarCraft would be great. And I kind of see that. I see it. It's a cool move, and it's not the whole, like you said, it's not the whole game. It's Wings of Liberty, and they probably have the numbers to look at where the fall off was, because they split this into 3 different games, all of which were standalone, I believe. You didn't need to own Wings of Liberty to play Heart of the Swarm, and
I believe you did, actually. I think they were full-blown expansions.
Oh, okay. Well, either way, if you own Wings of Liberty, which they probably see the numbers as like the people who own Wings of Liberty. Obviously, 100% of StarCraft players probably own Wings of Liberty. And if you own that, then you get Heart of the Swarm for free, which is probably one of the first drop-off points. And then Legacy of the Void is probably just the sheer drop. I love Legacy of the Void, but I know a lot of folks that love Blizzard games.
Yeah.
And surprisingly did not play Legacy of the Void, which was, in my opinion, probably one of the best expansions they offered, because it was Protoss. But yeah, free November 14th. The cool thing for me, though, and probably the best mode, which is co-op. And I think that's how they're going to monetize StarCraft 2, with unlocking of characters, adding new missions, and just doing it at a steadier clip. So I'm hoping that free-to-play isn't this is just esports now edition, and more, we're going to provide more content for you guys to support this game. And the neatest thing about co-op is that all the heroes are going to be free up to level 5. Then you can choose to buy them.
That's cool. So at that point, you pretty much know which heroes you like and don't like.
Yeah, I would say level 5 for a hero in StarCraft 2 co-op is 5 matches. So if you play a hero for 5 matches, you're probably all in anyways.
Yeah.
And yeah, I just played the co-op not too long ago and had a blast. And just had to ask myself, like, why have I not been playing this more? Because they're constantly adding to it, new missions, new heroes, stuff like that.
By the way, I owe you an apology. I did some research here, and Heart of the Void, Legacy of the Void is actually a standalone product. So you were right.
Oh. So is Heart of the Swarm an expansion then?
I guess I don't know. I'll look at that one right now actually. But I guess we could.
They were all standalone, but I mean,
we can assume that. But that's pretty cool. I guess where are they making money from this? Hasn't StarCraft 2 adopted like a loot chest system as well? I think they call them war chests.
They have war chests, and it's to support their esports. So it's more like what Dota does and other esports games do, where you buy the war chest and you get exclusive war chest items that I don't think are random. They're just like, here's your stuff type thing. But if there is a store in StarCraft 2, it's called the Collection or whatever, and you can buy announcer packs and custom skins for your units and emotes and stuff like that. Just, it's less like Heroes of the Storm, but it's got the same feel of the Heroes of the Storm store, because I was checking it out, and you can buy characters in there, and stuff goes on sale every once in a while. So yeah, it's neat, and it's nice to see Blizzard experimenting, and maybe this is their test for Diablo 3 to say, like, well, let's make StarCraft 2 free to play and see how that's adopted, and then look at Diablo as an option further down the line.
Yeah. Because, like, you know, it'd be pretty cool if they adopted the same system with Diablo. And if Diablo implements the loot system and it went free to play, like, I play it. It's a good game, you know. It's just that I'm just ready.
You can already play it. It's Path of Exile, right? It's that's Diablo free to play.
Yeah,
if you want to check it out and get an idea of what it would be like. But I just feel like making Diablo 3 or making Diablo 4 free to play is a bigger undertaking, no matter which path you take, 3 or 4. It's a bigger path than just making StarCraft 2 free to play. I'm not saying that it's hard. It's easy to make a title free to play that has been for purchase for the last 7 years, because there's systems there, but it's still an easier undertaking than taking Diablo 3 and because there's nothing in Diablo 3. The last time they tried to monetize Diablo 3, they almost killed the franchise.
Oh, the auction house.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So you can imagine them not wanting to do that again. So and still trying to figure out how to monetize Diablo. So
I gotcha.
It's interesting.
Well, yeah, StarCraft 2 goes free to play November 14th. You know, talking about, you know, within a year of the convention, that's in 8 days
next
of this
week.
recording. Yeah. So that's always a little fun drop. You want to move on to Hearthstone?
Yeah, it's a big one this year.
Yeah, our favorite card game, our digital card game. New expansion. You know, I think you and I both guessed that we probably get a new expansion. It is Kobolds and Catacombs. So Kobolds are fun. They're little, like, don't take handle. You know, they're usually like level 5. I have never seen a high level Kobold in all of my years of Warcraft experience. But
that's a good point.
Yeah.
Honestly.
So maybe it's a really easy expansion. I don't know. Also, they're bringing a new free single player mode called Dungeon Run, which pits players against 8 random bosses, which sounds like fun. Hopefully it's more, you know, I'm always okay with more PvE content in Hearthstone, because I can play PvP for a while, and sometimes I get frustrated and I want to just, you know, I just want to, like, play PvE because people sometimes frustrate me. I'm like, why did you top deck this card? So I'm kind of excited about this. Also, it's more free stuff, which is nice. I always love free content.
Yeah, there's 2 things I'm terrible at in Hearthstone in comparison to a lot of my Blizzard loving folks. Is I'm bad at building decks, and I'm bad at buying cards. I just don't buy cards. I'm one of the free to play people, and then I go in complaining like I can't do anything. It's like, well, you have to buy some cards in order to, because I'm so far behind. The fact that this new single player mode, Dungeon Run, it doesn't require a collection. You can just go in and play right off the street, new account, and it gives you the cards to play the mode, and the rewards you earn are then added to your collection. And it's a perfect fit. Like, why do the same thing they've been doing since launch with their adventures? Let's do something different. And this is really cool that they're doing something different. Maybe they saw, a fall from, what was it? Frozen Throne was the last single player stuff they did.
Yeah.
Maybe they didn't see a lot of people doing it, but
Well,
it's nice that they're doing something in the theme of Kobolds and Catacombs, because honestly, that announcement was the best format that they could have done with Ben Brode kind of saying like, okay, you want to go left or do you want to go right? And then, pitching the audience like which way they want to go in this choose your own adventure skit. It was amazing. My favorite part of the announcement, and I'm not a huge Hearthstone fan, so it was refreshing to love what I'm seeing from Hearthstone.
Mm-hmm. And they said that they wanted to move away from the dungeons or the raids. They would release a raid and they would release like a wing every week or something. They said they wanted to move away from that. So this sounds like the solution. Well, at the same time, it sounds like it helps with that the issue where if you walked into Hearthstone right now and you want to play competitively, it would either be one heck of a grind to get all the gold for card packs or be a lot of money. And the issue is if you walked in right now, it can be overwhelming. And this sounds like it's a good place for people to start.
Yeah.
They don't like you said, they don't have to like build a deck. The deck's given to them and they get the reward. They get to keep the rewards. So hopefully this kind of fixes it's two birds with one stone kind of thing. But
yeah, I thought it was it's a great addition to the game, and honestly something that I would like. I want to see more of, because I never touched the Frozen Throne quest because I don't have a deck. My deck is probably like the purple one, the expansion with the gods, the old gods, which was just over a year ago, or no, a year and a half ago. Probably would have been PAX April 2016. So it's crazy to think that this game evolves so quickly and that you have to drop at least $50 per expansion to kind of keep up with things. I could be wrong. I'm sure there are people out there that just play this free to play and you play every day and you get your card packs and you slowly build up. But this single player mode feels like it added for me. Yeah. So I'm excited about that.
And there are competitive players who play free to play like as a proof of concept kind of thing, but it's hard. It's hard. Like you gotta it's a maximum of 300 gold a day from wins. Including quests, it can be quite a grind. So hopefully this kind of gives another route to that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm curious. Do you ever pre-purchase the expansions?
Sorry?
Do you ever pre-purchase the expansions?
No, I've never. I came close once, and it was the jousting one, the tournament, the grand tournament. I came very close, and it was when I was actually playing pretty regularly. But I don't play regularly enough to drop the $50 US, so it's like 60 or something here.
Yeah,
60, 70, and it's not something I do, and probably won't do for this one as well. Although it is, honestly, every time they announce an expansion, I'm like, oh, this could be the one. This sounds really cool. So I probably won't, but I know a lot of people who will, and that's awesome. I'm glad people are enjoying this enough to just drop $50 on 50 packs. And I know it's a good deal. Like, what is it? It's $1.99 a pack normally. Is that how that works?
Yes, unless when you buy in bulk, the price per pack drops. But
yeah, so 50 for 50 is a stellar deal. It's basically half price, right?
Yeah, and then after, if you don't pre-purchase it, I think it jumps another $10 or something. So like
maybe
so when you pre-purchase, that's like the cheapest it's gonna be. But yeah,
I mean, if you're into the game and you're looking to be competitive day one, yeah, you're gonna pre-purchase 50 packs. It's a no-brainer.
And if you're that hardcore into the game, you're maybe not playing other games that you would spend $60 on.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, no, I'm totally cool with people being like Hearthstone being their jam. I mean, I do a podcast with Jocelyn. Like December will roll around and it's like, this is what I've been playing. It's like, that makes perfect sense. So Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like, if I look at it, this might be the one because I think the dungeon run and the dungeon theme, I really like that. And honestly, like I said, I have so many folks that play Hearthstone. It would be nice to play Hearthstone, you know, and try to get into it. But I'm not sure. But I think it's exciting. This expansion's probably the most. It's the most charming of all that have come out this year.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because Frozen Throne's kind of like, yeah.
It was cool. They added Death Knights, but I think we all wanted a new class for that. But you mentioned an exciting expansion.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what's getting an exciting expansion? World of Warcraft.
Diablo. Oh.
Surprise. No.
Yeah.
World of Warcraft is getting a new expansion. We called it. Like this was one of I think the safe assumptions of the convention, but I'm hyped. I'm excited. I wasn't as excited for Legion and the one prior to that, Warlords. Like those look cool, but this one particularly excited for.
Yeah, they surprised me. Like it wasn't a surprise that they were gonna do a new expansion. And quickly before we get to the new expansion, I don't see in the notes. World of Warcraft Classic was announced before the expansion, or I can't remember now. Anyways, World of Warcraft Classic. Let's rewind. You're younger than I, so World of Warcraft Classic I played in high school, or I should probably just call it World of Warcraft at that point.
All right, I also played it. Just by the way,
in high school.
No, not in high school. I think I was like in middle school or something.
Oh, there you go. But, so yeah. So, but I was the tail end of high school into college that I played World of Warcraft and Burning Crusade. So this is World of Warcraft Classic, Blizzard terms. It is the experience of vanilla, good or bad. And they don't. There was no other details, just that they're working on it, and that's kind of why it can be easily missed because it's overshadowed by this new expansion. So, the new expansion. You're really excited.
I am.
Sorry to push us aside here, but I want to know, like, you're really excited. What has you the most excited about this?
All right, so the level scaling has me excited. You know, it's what I wanted. It didn't quite take the form of which I was expecting. I was expecting something kind of like in Legion, where you can go to any zone and they just they're your level. Instead, what they went for was they essentially I don't know if you played World of Warcraft lately. I assume you played Legion, but when you mouse over zones, it gives you a level range, right? Yeah. It could be 30 to 35. I think the most I've seen is 10 levels. Most of them I think are 5. And that's really cool and all, but like I talked about, it really limits how long you can stay there, especially if you're decked out with heirlooms, you have potions. I can blow through a zone in like 5 quests and I'm done. I'm packing up, going to the next place, and I can't really enjoy the quests there. But what they've decided to do was they did implement level scaling, but what they essentially did was increase that level window where you can enjoy a zone. And their examples were the expansions. So they talked about, for example, the Burning Crusade and Wrath of the Lich King, where those now, both of those expansions scale from 60 to 80. So you can experience them in any order, and I believe you can actually stay with just one expansion if you wanted to. So that's really cool because I have leveled like 14 characters through Burning Crusade, and every time, and like now when I get there, I just it's painful. I've done it so many times. It's bad. So I'm excited that, and like I much prefer Wrath of the Lich King just because it, first of all, was my favorite expansion, and I feel like there's a lot more to do. So I really enjoy going to Wrath of the Lich King. So it'd be really cool if I could just do 20 levels chugging Wrath of the Lich King. Of course, then I'll probably hate it after a while, after a few more ults. But I'm pretty excited about that. I don't know if you have any thoughts. Are you? I'm kind of an ultaholic. I filled up my server with max level characters. I don't know if you're the same way.
No, I'm one of those folks that jumps in every expansion, but kind of falls off once the main character is kind of. Besides the fact that I left my character that I've had since university in the cold. Poor Crassus, who I think got name changed to Merpan when we moved him over to AIE, but he didn't get to move over to Legion. I did the Demon Hunter, which I thought was really cool. It was nice to do a new hero class. So the fact that they're adding, flexible expansion order, like you refer to it here in the notes, is really cool, because I didn't really dig Burning Crusade. It wasn't really the high point of me playing World of Warcraft, but Wrath of the Lich King represents probably the peak of me playing WoW and has the most memories associated with it, because it had the most real, friends. My roommates were playing with me. I went to EB Games for the midnight launch and picked it up, and then went home and played it. Everything before that and everything after that has this, there's a peak there, and it doesn't quite have the same, it's just not up there as much as the time in which Wrath of the Lich King came out. So the fact that I can level alts and skip Burning Crusade and just sit in Wrath of the Lich King for 20 levels and enjoy it sounds really cool, and probably one of the easier additions than making the whole world scalable. I thought the whole world scalable would be really cool, but pose an issue to those folks who wanted to go back and do a specific run for a specific loot item on their own, and this is that was my concern on the Gamers Inn, and this is kind of the perfect addressing that concern, but also saying we're not going to affect what you're all doing right now. So it's a neat addition, something that was announced probably at one of the panels that I didn't watch because it wasn't in the opening ceremony. But yeah, the new expansion was really cool. They kind of set it up, and then at the end, we should talk about all the other stuff, but I wanted to talk about the cinematic.
Yeah.
Because they ran the normal trailer that you usually get, which is here's what's the features. And like, oh, we got one more thing. Here's the actual intro cinematic. So this tells me that either they started that right away to get it out at BlizzCon, or this expansion is coming around the corner, like spring, probably, or late or early summer, or maybe at the same timing as Legion, like a late summer-ish reveal. But
that's been their release window in the past, like we talked about.
Yeah, exactly. So the fact that cinematic sets up Battle for Azeroth as the Legion has been dealt with. Now we got to go back to our own continents, and then we got to deal with, hey, remember that time when? It's like, oh, well, you did this thing to us way back then, and then you did this. And the cinematic is the Alliance taking back Lordaeron, which to me is a big deal, because that's directly connected to Warcraft 3 content, which
that was huge.
My big thing for World of Warcraft. And I was worried that after Legion, it's like, well, anything that comes after Legion is going to be brand spanking new, or just digging deep into those novels and the lore to find a new baddie or to find a new driving expansion type idea. And the fact that they've gone back to, no, like, a lot of shit's happened, so we're going to have to deal with that. And basically how they deal with that is war, because these are fighting, factions. So the fact that we're going back to battle is really cool.
Yeah, and they haven't felt like warring factions in a while. I feel like the last few expansions have been very unifying. With like Legion, we felt really close. I think we started Wrath of the Lich King, we were at each other's throats. I think Cataclysm, we started bonding a little bit because we saw that the world was destroyed and we kind of needed each other to rebuild. And that kind of followed through with Pandaria because, the pandas are all about peace and ramen or whatever. And then, and I think we've had this unifying expansions, and it sounds like, okay, we're looking across the battlefield. We have defeated everything in our path. There's nowhere else to place this anger and hatred that we have, like this hunger for war. And when there's nothing else left standing, we just have to look at the other faction and say, let's throw down. And it feels like that's where we are now. It's like there's no other threats. So now we're at to be a threat to each other.
Yeah. And it's not even a threat to each other. I think it's just, these are two factions that have been at each other's throats. And there's a lot of people on both sides that want to see the other people taken out, and I think the fact that they do Lordaeron in the expansion cinematic, it harkens back to a lot of people who played Warcraft 3 and been like, yeah, that's been in the hands of the enemies for a long time, and it became an enemy, enemy stronghold after Arthas sort of went in and cleared house. And I mean, if we're talking about the last time these two factions were really at each other's throats, I think it was World of Warcraft vanilla, because Burning Crusade, you're going in and there's a bit of a land grab, but I think it's more about trying to the start of the Legion content, going after Illidan, and he's a big bad, let's get him. And then Wrath of Lich King was Arthas, and then Cataclysm was the explosion of the world. Mist was this new land, and now Mist might have been like a land grab more, less of a at each other's throat, but more of a land grab. Oh, here's new land, let's go in there and try to get it.
Yeah.
And Draenor was a side quest, I think. Because basically everyone became Horde in Draenor. And seriously, like, I remember playing as a couple Alliance characters, and it's like, nah, you don't exist in this world. You're in the past. So no Night Elves, no Tauren. So the thing is, then Legion obviously is the big one. But yeah, this is really cool. And I really do hope that there is some locked in lore changes. Like, do the Alliance get back Lordaeron? Is there a story there that we move the undead somewhere else? Like, maybe the undead take over another Alliance location?
Yeah. Well, we know that the Horde burned down Teldrassil. We know the Night Elf place. So we know
maybe that's the swap.
And from what I understand, the Horde, there was some faction within the Horde that ended up attacking that, and as retaliation, the Alliance attacked the Undercity. So it sounds like the swap. It sounds like both factions will lose a capital city, both rather popular ones, because I love the Night Elf capital city. Like, it's gorgeous, and I've spent a lot of time in Undercity. It's kind of like my go-to place on the Eastern Kingdoms, because I have been playing World of Warcraft for years, and I still don't know how to get around Silvermoon. That place is a maze. It's a maze.
You've had a long time to figure it out, Mike. Yeah. Come on.
I have lost so many alts to that city. I just can't get them out. So, no.
I don't think that's how it works.
they die from starvation. I lose communication. It's horrible.
Yeah, they're like Tamagotchis. If you don't feed them, they just poop themselves to death.
No. Yeah. So I'm okay with the trade. I don't know. Like, it's really cool that we're kind of getting back to this, and it sounds like it's going to be a major PvP expansion.
Yeah, I was. That's interesting. I don't like PvP very much. I'm not a big PvPer. So it's interesting to see like this focus on Alliance versus Horde, and maybe they'll build it in a way where you don't have to PvP, but it feels like you're PvPing. With the island expeditions of the scenarios that they've got set up, and you're facing AI opponents, but on pen and paper, it looks like you're playing Alliance versus Horde.
And I think that's what the AI is a fix for that, I think. Because they talked about this AI. It doesn't act like regular AI in the game. It doesn't have aggro range. It doesn't just mope around. Like, I think, from what I understand, it kind of learns how you play, or it learns how you attack and interact with like NPCs, and it learns to counter that. So it's a smarter AI than we've had in the past.
So they've made an AI to replicate the PvP player in a way
exactly
that you would see if you were playing bots in Halo, or does Halo have bots? I don't know. Overwatch, like an Overwatch bots or whatever. So that's interesting. New level cap, 120, new dungeons, new raids, yada yada yada.
Standard, yeah.
Continents, Kulturas. It sounds familiar to me, but do you know the big deal about that one? Like pirates, right? Like,
yeah, was that not Jaina's father's place?
So is he still alive? Jaina's Proudmoore father?
I don't know. She's Alliance scum, so I don't pay attention to her.
Right.
Sorry,
right.
The expansion's affecting me already. I'm already feeling like some hatred. Sorry.
I mean, I'm Horde, but
Okay,
when
good.
so when I started playing World of Warcraft way back in the day, I was Alliance. I was a Night Elf. Please hold your laughter.
This podcast is over.
Oh, okay. Well, no. Then in Burning Crusade, I started an undead named Deadrock, who was awesome. He was a warrior. He still exists in some far-flung land. I think he might even be on AIE. But anyways, he was really cool. And then I got into the whole Horde side, and that's all I've been doing ever since. Or no, Deadrock was my second character, original vanilla, and then I switched over to Blood Elves because, again, I'm a weird person like that. But yeah, Kulturas is interesting. And here's the thing: you watch that cinematic, you see the Alliance going after Lordaeron, and you can't help but be like, why? They kind of stack the cards. This was an Alliance. This was an Alliance cinematic because honestly, I like the Horde as much as the next person, but it's kind of hard to defend the Horde defending what wasn't theirs to begin with.
Yeah. Well, all right. Well,
just throwing it out there.
We've been here for a long while. We've kind of squatted on it for some time.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it's ours at this point. Like they didn't come back immediately and take it. It sounds like they kind of gave up on it.
Are you saying that the undead have squatters' rights? Is that what's happening? Like
maybe.
Did they pull up the lease for Lordaeron and be like, yeah, well, we've been paying rent for like the last 5-6 years.
It makes sense. It makes sense. They've been there for a while. So like the Alliance can't just change their mind and be like, I think we want it back now. Now
they've been a little busy. I mean,
True.
I mean, devil's advocate here. The Alliance and Horde have been both very busy. I don't think we should be surprised. I was surprised that this is the first thing they show. And it makes perfect sense because ever since that happened, the Alliance hasn't been strong enough to go back and take it back from the undead. But there's also been a lot of crap going on. You got Illidan and the Burning Crusade, which is the start of the Legion, then you have Arthas and Mists and Deathwing, and there's a lot of crap going on. And then you deal with the Legion, it's like, okay, we should probably go get that castle back. Because I'm telling you right now, the undead aren't the cleanest, and that's going to take a while to clean out. But yeah, squatters' rights, that makes sense. But I just don't understand the argument that the Horde can make being like, Lordaeron's ours. It's like, it's kind of got a deep history with the Alliance, and y'all been defiling it.
Yeah. We've been here for a while, but no, because it was the undeads, and then the undead joined the Horde. So we kind of adopted. You were raised in Lordaeron. We merely adopted it, kind of thing.
The undead being a part of the Horde always felt a little off for me. And I don't think they ever explained it really well. Unless I'm wrong, I'm not a lore nerd, and I would love to be corrected. But do you get the sense that like they just kind of shove them in there, like, I don't know, they're ugly, let's put them with the Horde?
I feel like the undead's been part of the Horde not because they wanted to, but out of survival, because they needed that. They needed the force of the Horde in case something happened with the Alliance. Like, by themselves, they would have been wiped out. But
they were kind of surrounded.
Yeah, so I feel like they needed that, and Sylvanas is smart enough to make the alliances that she needs to, but we've never trusted her. To be honest, I don't particularly trust her still, even though she's war chief. Vol'jin, still war chief in my chest, So...
Too soon. Yeah.
So... he was like war chief for like 5 minutes. That's just something that makes me upset. Anyway, so I don't quite trust her. I feel, but of anyone to lead the Horde into battle, I would pick Sylvanas because she's kind of like anything to win. She'll take the cheap shot if she needs to, I feel. So,
yeah, but the thing is with Sylvanas, I just hope they're not setting up another war chief to be the bad guy, because it felt like Sylvanas was being set up to be, this big baddie, especially in the early Legion cinematics where she was trying to get the thing to save her people, and
yeah,
Gilneas Pete kind of trashed it. But it'll be interesting to see what happens there, and I really hope it isn't just like the word another word sheet goes bad. But I remember, what was it? It was, you had mentioned that they burned down the Night Elf capital. It's like it's the Horde being bad guys, and we don't have any story behind it. I'm interested. This is the thing, is like, outside of all the other expansions that have happened, except for Burning Crusade and Wrath of the Lich King, I'm most interested in how the story plays out, because it is a continuation of it is the continuation of Warcraft lore, and therefore can set up a new world. With Wrath of the Lich King, like, that was addressing up a story point and then closing the book. Burning Crusade addressing, closing the book. And it's been that way forever, but except for Cataclysm, where they kind of just shook the world up. But I don't really know if that actually changed things. But this Battle for Azeroth will set up a new set of stories, and you'll have to build upon it. Whatever happens in this expansion will be felt for expansions down the road. Like the Legion being dealt with, it's like, all right, less demons hanging about.
Yeah.
Mists of Pandaria, guess what? They're pandas now. I guess that's a pretty big deal. But you know what I'm trying to say is just that what happens here affects the future of the franchise.
You're saying it's kind of like a story reset in a way.
Not a story reset, but a story progression. Like, this is the sequel that we've been waiting for. Like, when we go off to Legion, and in the Legion expansion, when that's over, it's just like, we did it. We beat the Legion, and then we go back to our lives.
Yeah.
And nothing's changed in Azeroth except for the fact that the demons have been dealt with. And with Battle for Azeroth, I think stuff is happening in Azeroth. Mm. So the next expansion that comes out will have to deal with the repercussions that have, or the results that have come from the Battle for Azeroth, as opposed to other expansions where it's self-contained to that little continent, except for Cataclysm, obviously, because it changed everything. But
I feel like Cataclysm was less of a. I always felt like it was less story driven, more like they needed a reason to update World of Warcraft. Bring flying to the old world, increase all the graphics. So I always felt like Cataclysm was more of a technical requirement than a story-based expansion.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why I think I'm really excited for Battle for Azeroth. I think it's, like I was saying pre-show, I was going to skip that for the first time in over 10 years. I was going to skip an expansion, or at least not buy it day one. And this being the first time I've actually really talked about this expansion, I think I'm gonna belay that order. I'm gonna continue with my buy it day one, play it, and see how it goes. I'm excited to return to the World of Warcraft. So.
Yeah, sounds like you talked yourself out of not buying it.
I know I did. Yeah, pretty recently actually.
No, I'm excited for this. We've touched on pretty much everything except for Warfronts. It sounds like it's a PvP mode that it's inspired by Warcraft 3, where you build structures, you upgrade units. It sounds like they're trying to bring an RTS game mode into World of Warcraft, which sounds exciting. We had something similar to this. I know that what is it? Not Athari Basin. Alterac Valley. Alterac Valley originally was supposed to be a PvP battleground where instead of directly fighting the enemy, you would build up troops and farm stuff to upgrade them to send them across. And eventually it just became people running out the fortress and killing people on their own. So it sounds like this is another attempt at that, of more of a your character isn't directly in combat. Instead, you are commanding people. It just sounds like a better way to go around it as an RTS, and it sounds exciting.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah, I don't know if you have any thoughts on it. Are you pumped?
This is the first I've really heard a lot about it. Warfront sounded. I'm not big on PvP, but I'm big on removed PvP, like removing yourself from the front on PvP, having other ways to assist your team. Because I'm not good at shooting other people in the face in PvP. Just not really good at it. So when you offer me this mode where I can focus on building and upgrading buildings and progressing that side of things, that sounds really good. Like, for example, a really good example is Gears of War. Terrible at the multiplayer, but loved Horde mode because I could contribute in different ways. And I know it's a little different because it's versus AI, but I think playing other players, it would be nice to be able to participate in a PvP mode where people aren't just out to try and gank you. I think that's where it shines a light on, ooh, this might be for me, because people are going to be doing different things, not just trying to kill. There will be people trying to kill me, I get that, but not just that, which is a nice distraction, I think.
Yeah. I'm excited for it. Yeah, I'm also not big in PvP, but I'm excited to see where it goes, and hopefully this inspires other new modes.
Yeah, exactly.
Sorry. You want to move on to Heroes of the Storm?
Yeah.
Just
let's do that.
Well, we got heroes. Hanzo and Alex Straza will be added to the game. Frankly, I'm surprised that we got another Overwatch character because the last two were from Overwatch. Mm-hmm. So that was interesting. Alex Straza. Yeah. What were you gonna say?
Well, I was just gonna say Hanzo. I mean, I don't want to sound like that guy, but I could not be like, I just don't care about Hanzo being added to the game. It's like, well, there's a month where I don't have to play because it's just going to be all Hanzo all the time. Because Hanzo felt like, well, we got Genji, we better throw his brother in there.
Yeah.
I know it sounds like I'm poo-pooing it, but Hanzo being in the game is great. Complete the set. You got Genji and Hanzo now, but Alex Straza sounds awesome. She looks great. She's an awesome dragon in game. I think they nailed what people wanted from a dragon aspect. You had Chromie in there, and she just never turned into a dragon. She just had dragon-like abilities, and people were kind of a little bummed by that. So putting an aspect into the game with Alex Straza, who, spoiler alert, is dead in Legion, right? She gets killed?
Yes.
Or is that a different person?
No, I believe that's her.
Or is it? Oh, God. Jocelyn's like, she's probably sleeping right now. She just got home from BlizzCon, but she's probably rolling around having a bad dream. I think it was Azara that died in World of Warcraft.
It was one of the dragons, and to be honest, there's so many of them. I feel like it's impossible to keep track of.
Well, we're just talking about the main ones, like Deathwing's dead.
Yeah.
Azara, I think Azara is the one who gets the weird corrupted spear through her scale.
Mm-hmm.
She's dead.
Alex
Straza might be the last one because Malagos was killed in Wrath, and Nostradamu, he might be stuck in a time warper.
I really thought that was Alex Straza, but they all look the same. Okay, it was
they're a color swap.
Yeah, no, I'm colorblind, so then that's my issue is that they all look the same. Okay, so Ysera was the one that died, I think.
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
Anyways, Alex Straza's coming to Heroes of the Storm. I had predicted 2 heroes. I think you had predicted the same. There was no new map because there was just one not too long ago that I completely forgot. But bunch of quality of life updates with a higher camera, stealth rework, towers have infinite ammo now, which I know will man, that's going to have a pretty big effect on the game.
Yeah, what's your initial thoughts on that? That good, bad?
I love it because I'm terrible at pushing lanes, but also terrible at defending lanes, and I find my towers are always gone. It's like, well, what the hell's the point? The towers just evaporate because people just lay into them as soon as they run out of ammo. I like the idea of them, in a real world, like they're not going to have unlimited ammo, but it's nice that they would pause for a little bit, but I think it works better for the game. It might encourage more team fights as opposed to just hammering towers. But I mean, they're not going to add this stuff without testing it. So I assume they've seen the actual impact the game has.
Yeah.
But it is a little concerning, I think.
That's interesting. Yeah, I don't play as much Heroes of the Storm as you do. I do notice that, like, at me as a player, if I see a tower without ammo, I'm gonna hammer on that thing until either someone comes up and runs me off, or it gets ammo back. So This is going to be interesting. And maybe, is it possible that maybe this will increase the duration of matches? Are they trying to make
That's what I'm worried about. I feel like the matches are already like a little bit too long for me, like 15 to 20 to 25 minutes. 25 being on the long scale and 15 being on the you got trounced scale. 20 minutes I think is the perfect middle ground for a game. So with the towers not having ammo and just being infinite ammo, I worry a little bit there. But you know what? It's something that I trust Blizzard to make changes to their big game, and I'm fine with these little tweaks. I'm just really excited for Alexstrasza, and we get her next week. She's out in the wild next week.
I didn't know that. Like, not PTR or...
She's PTR right now, so you can go play her right now. But she will be added to the game next week, and it actually closes out. Hallow's End goes until the 14th, and then another event will start, Dragons of the Nexus.
Nice.
And there's another little like play X Games to get this type of stuff. So that's exciting.
All right. Well, you want to move on to the big news of the whole convention, Diablo?
Yeah.
You excited? You excited?
No.
Guess what?
No news is good news, right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, something's cooking somewhere.
Maybe.
They
have a Diablo team, so
they're still there. I hope it's just like one guy. He just like posts on the forums occasionally, just to give.
He does their Twitter. He just does memes all day.
Exactly. Yeah, and they have said it's not dead, but hopefully, maybe next year, or is it the year after? I think they're alternating years on BlizzCon now. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I thought so because there was none. There was none last year. So
there's BlizzCon every year.
No, because they announced, or did they skip a year? Because they announced Legion at Gamescom.
Well, no, they have skipped a year, but it's been a while. BlizzCon has been going yearly for quite some time now. Back in the day, they skipped. It was the year they announced. It was the year Heart of the Swarm came out. They skipped a year because all those games came out, and it's like we just didn't have enough time to plan a show. I mean, a quick search of BlizzCon, I think you'll find that it's going yearly, and
okay, yeah.
Next year.
So why did they announce Legion at Gamescom? I thought it's because they skipped a year.
No, I think it was just maybe I don't know. It's just one of those things. Sometimes they announce it. Gamescom's pretty big for Blizzard. They have a lot of European, a huge European fan base.
And that's kind of their
honestly,
biggest...
like before, even when BlizzCon was happening, they would announce like StarCraft 2 was announced in Korea, Diablo was announced in I want to say China, but I could be wrong. But announced in weird places Diablo 3 was France. And it was just one of those things where they would announce these projects not at BlizzCon, but then they detail them at BlizzCon. That's where they have the time to show everything.
Okay.
And they usually do the cinematic for expansions at BlizzCon, and that's probably why they did the deep dive in at Gamescom.
Oh, geez, maybe I just had a stroke or something.
No, it's fine. I have to be steeped in Blizzard-ness, or else it's an A move requirement.
Oh, I see. Or Jocelyn's gonna throw you out.
No, it's trying to keep up with everybody. They're such Blizzard, they're all over Blizzard. So if I don't know like the bare minimum, it's just embarrassing. You don't get kicked out. It's just embarrassing.
You're shamed. No one makes eye contact with you for a little bit.
Yeah, pretty much.
I gotcha. All right.
Yeah.
Let's move on to Overwatch. Because
big stuff.
Oh my gosh. I was so sad that Blizzard World was not an actual place. I kept I don't know why I was watching the trailer for the first time and they kept showing scenes of Blizzard World and I was really waiting for like this sparkle effect to go across the screen and then get like live action images from the actual convention.
That'd be a hard thing to hide though.
It would be. In hindsight, what I wanted was impossible. It was completely impossible. But I love this map. Like, it makes me want to go play Overwatch just to see it. But Blizzard World is an Overwatch map. Mm-hmm. It's basically a theme park around Blizzard IPs. They got StarCraft, World of Warcraft. I guess you could argue Overwatch is in there at this point.
Well, yeah.
Diablo, I think Diablo was in there.
They had the stay a while and listen.
Oh yeah, yeah. The Heroes of the Storm arcade, like it was cool, and like it looks like so much fun, and I love that Overwatch has kind of become this thing where all the worlds kind of collide. Because before Overwatch even released, we had Hearthstone. You remember? Because in the very first trailer for Overwatch, like even before it released, there was a security guard playing Hearthstone, and there's been like, you know, we got in May's cinematic, we had the Murloc mug. So and you know, D.Va is an ex StarCraft player. So that's kind of cool how Overwatch seems to have become this thing where they're all colliding, and this is just the biggest example.
Yeah, there was actually, I was kind of creeping the Overwatch Twitter as I was waiting for announcements, because I didn't buy the virtual ticket. I just kind of absorbed everything through osmosis and the opening ceremonies. But they were addressing people's concerns like, well, this is kind of jumping the shark, isn't it? It's like, well, no, Blizzard as a company exists in the world of Overwatch. The world of Overwatch is set in the future. So the idea of a Blizzard theme park kind of is plausible, in the sense that Blizzard as a company at that point in the future could have created a theme park. And I mean, let's be honest, Blizzard owns their own esports arena. The next step is building a theme park.
Hold up. All right, I'm connecting the dots, Ryan. Here we go. You and I talked about they never announce things unless it's like a year within release. So we have that. If we take a string and connect that to the Overwatch trailer, which gives us a Blizzard theme park, there's only one explanation. Within a year, we're getting a theme park from Blizzard. We've cracked it. We've cracked it.
It's going to be in-game. It's in-game. Like, I think Blizzard creating a theme park is a huge undertaking. They couldn't even successfully make a movie based on their franchise.
Or it's currently under a mountain somewhere. It's the only explanation.
Sure. It's just this giant iron forge. It's like, that's all we could do. Have fun.
Okay, that would still be amazing. Oh, I'm sorry.
It would be amazing. You're right. But the theme park idea to me is interesting, but it feels like it wasn't what I wanted in terms of in-game story. Like, you're not progressing the story of Overwatch by creating a Blizzard theme park. Yeah. It's a cool way to add new skins to the game for your favorite characters. I get that. But it's still attached to a loot box system where I have to, you know, like, hope against hope that I get the hero skin that I want. And it's a turn away for me. I don't want to deal with that, you know, but I get it. It looks cool. They look cool. The map looks cool, and the map I'll be able to play on, no problem. But I was just a little disappointed that they weren't progressing the story in game very much. Except, you know, for the new hero, they added a new hero. Moira's coming. She's on the PTR right now. You can play her, and she'll be out, I think they said soon, probably before the end of the year.
Yeah.
Blizzard theme park, they're aiming for early 2018. But Moira being out of the game, I guess, is a way of progressing the story, because she's Blackwatch, right? She was part of...
I thought she was part of Talon, but
you're right, Talon. The Reaper... In her origins video, you saw how she turned Jack Reyes into Reaper.
Yes,
which was kind of neat. That is a progression of the story, but it's not progressing the story, you know, forward. It's just explaining more about what happened before the game came out. You know, and
just some thoughts on the hero. To be honest, I don't think we need another support hero. I was kind of hoping, like I said, another defense, because that's the only class of hero we haven't gotten yet. So right now, all the other classes, like, they feel just kind of bloated compared to defense. She also a lot of parallels to who's Robot Man, Zenyatta. How she has like a healing and an attack. And, like, they're kind of like, I think I even saw, like, a side-by-side image. Like, they're on the same hands. So, like, their symmetry is the same. So, I feel like maybe they wanted a more offensive healer because they're trying to make the game faster. Because I know, like, if you look at all these past heroes we've gotten, they're better at pushing, or like, you know, especially Doomfist. Doomfist is very agile. Like they like the dive meta, and I think they're kind of pushing that for more intense games. And if she's a fix, or if she continues that game plan, I can understand that, because, you know, she might have a bigger health base. Because the issue with Zenyatta and Ana is they're both. I would say they both as DPS can do. I mean, yeah, their DPS is rather high for healers, especially Zenyatta can kill something if he really puts his mind to it, but he has no health. It's kind of sad. So if she kind of like, if she doesn't heal as much but does more damage and has a larger health pool, that would be nice, just as like a higher surviving healer. But like, I'm kind of disappointed with what we got. Like you said, it's not quite what I wanted. Like, I'm happy we're getting a new hero, but it's not quite what I wanted.
Yeah, and the unfortunate part about Overwatch heroes is you kind of have to be happy with what you get, because they happen every 4 months. You know, you get 3 or 4 4 heroes each year, and I mean, they're free, so that's nice. You don't have to play it if you don't want to. And honestly, I'm kind of excited for Moira, because I do like healers. I like healing because it goes back to the whole, like, I'm not good at shooting people, so I'm happy to help the team. Usually when I'm playing Overwatch, I'm doing well as her, because I'm healing, although they changed her a little bit, so she's a little more offensive. And it goes back to your thought about, you know, wanting to speed up the game and give healers more to do, because literally Mercy was the shoot a beam at someone. Now she's a little more, you know, active. She has to revive, you know, every 6 seconds. And
of all the healers, I think we saw that all the other healers have offensive capabilities where Mercy did not, and I think they wanted to fix that. So like,
yeah, and from what I hear, I mean, I never got to pull off her ultimate before we moved on to the next match, but she has that now. But, you know, I'm excited. She's Irish, which is awesome. And I've been hearing a lot of praise that she's a legit Irish voice actor with a legit Irish accent, which is awesome. I love that Blizzard is representing the countries that these characters come from. Everyone was like, oh, Terry Crews needs to be Doomfist. Terry Crews needs to be Doomfist. It's like, no, Doomfist is from Nigeria, right? I could be wrong. But anyways, he was from a country. He's not from the United States of America. And Terry Crews is very American. And the fact that they're like, no, we had this actor in mind, and he is the actor, and he's going to put on an accent that we want this character to have. So it's exciting that they're continuing down that path, and I think it's really cool. Yeah, no,
it's been they've been doing a good job being sensitive about that. You know, what do you think of the new skins?
Again, like it feels like they're really cool skins. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah,
but I'm a little bit frustrated that they're adding these skins, which are probably a limited time, to play as your favorite heroes.
All these skins will be added to the base loot boxes.
Really?
Yeah.
That is awesome. If that, like, I do remember them mentioning that, and honestly, I get it. Halloween, yes, should be limited. Chinese New Year, limit that stuff. Valentine's Day, Christmas, makes perfect sense to limit it to the holidays, because you're only going to want to really play as them outside of like a couple of heroes that just look cool in all year round. But you look at these skins and you look at the Uprising skins and the Anniversary skins, those should have been added to the general pool.
I agree.
Give me specific loot boxes for the month and a half that the event's going on, but after that, add them to the general pool.
I agree. Any stand out to you?
They all kind of flashed by me, and usually the coolest ones are for characters that I'm terrible at. Like the Nova Widowmaker looks amazing.
Oh yeah,
but I'm
spot on.
not a Widowmaker player.
No,
but yeah.
No, you see, that's the reason why I play Ana, is because I like sniping, but my teammates don't hide from me, so I just snipe as Ana, and it works. Like, I love Magni, Bronzebeard, Torbjorn. That's awesome. Like,
yeah. And I love Torbjorn.
Oh yeah,
So
I'm a grind for that skin. Like that skin's beautiful. Crusader Reinhardt looks pretty cool. That short was pretty cool. I'm really enjoying these shorts that they're giving.
yeah,
I know they're not forwarding the story, but I do enjoy the background of what shapes the heroes that we have now, you know, like with Reinhardt. He started off as this immature, he wasn't a team player, he was reckless, but because of what they showed in the short, you know, the incident that happens, he's responsible. He's you know, he's your shield or whatever. And I thought that was fun. I've been enjoying that.
I agree. Like the shorts, like don't get me wrong, the shorts are awesome. They look great. They're top notch quality stuff, and they're free. You don't have to buy an expansion to enjoy it. You just get to watch it, and it feels like a complete product. And this one really proves that Blizzard has this overarching story that they're telling outside of the game with these cinematics, and that this is the perfect pairing to the Bastion cinematic. You know, the Bastion cinematic takes place right before Overwatch starts, or the game, and this Reinhardt one is kind of all of them are attached to, you know, the call to create Overwatch again, but they all kind of go into the past a little bit, and we saw that the Bastion cinematic tells the story of the robots invading that location, and then cinematic tells the story of that map and how the guy died on the throne, and you know how Reinhardt started, and people latched onto Reinhardt's daughter, you know, as a character. And a person on Twitter who works on the cinematics team or the story, I think she's lead writer on Overwatch. That character has a name. She is a person. Like, she exists in the lore and can be called upon when needed in the story. And I think that's really awesome. Blizzard definitely has a cohesive story here that they're telling. I just wish there was more of it in game. That's my only wish, and it honestly would make me super happy if they did that. I know they've dabbled, but in 2018, I would like to see more story content, like Uprising. Give me that story content in game with an event. I'll even be fine buying your loot boxes if that's the case. But I digress. Awesome short. You're right.
Yeah, and like, it's, as you were saying, it's obvious that the story's there, because I know that girl is Torbjorn's daughter, I believe. So, and like, possible hero, maybe a defense hero, we don't know, but they have these characters. It feels like sometimes there's this huge dam holding back all this story, and we're in the valley looking up at, like, wanting it to break so we can drown in game events and stuff. I don't know, but
well, they've been trickling this story out since the very beginning. Like, since we got that first trailer, they've just been sprinkling story for us. And usually when you get a game, they tell a complete story start to finish in that experience. But here with Overwatch, it's like they're giving us tidbits every couple of weeks through comics and intros and cinematics and stuff. And it's a lot of content. And it's really cool to kind of like follow it piece by piece, like breadcrumbs. But sometimes you want what you get everywhere else, which is a cohesive story, start to finish, in one fell swoop.
Yeah, and that would be nice. Would be nice in a way. Maybe they're doing it on purpose just to keep the hype alive for Overwatch.
Yeah, I mean, Overwatch is certainly doing well, and it is a multiplayer game first and foremost. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to fault the game just because I'm not a big fan of multiplayer shooters, but Blizzard can tell a great story. They've moved away from in-game mechanics to tell those stories outside of WoW, really. WoW's their only game where they're telling a story in a complete package in game, which is sad, really.
Yeah, and like sometimes I feel like there's a story in Heroes of the Storm. Sometimes,
yeah, the flavor text tells a bit about the Nexus and where things come from, and the Nexus is cool because everything's coming and pulled together from a parallel universe. So like, even the cowgirl skin for Vala has a story to it. Instead of a demon hunter, she's a cowgirl. that's the story. But it's cool that they apply a logic to every skin they put out, and it's not just, I don't know, we thought Vala would look cool as a cowgirl.
Yeah,
she does, but
yeah. But I don't know. Overwatch has a story. It'd be cool. Some people have been asking for an Overwatch movie. I feel like it's a really good idea, but we would definitely get an in-game event before we got a movie. Like, I'm completely behind the Overwatch or Blizzard's animation team, who are amazing, by the way. Mm-hmm. If they made a movie, I'd watch that like twice a day, every day until I died or something. But
yeah, that's a bit much, but I could see them making a movie at some point, even like a short, like maybe like a 30-minute thing. I think for Overwatch, I need to move past this in-game story content and just move to do an event that pushes the game forward. Like an event where it's like, okay, this is Overwatch 2.0. This is setting up the next set of stories we're going to tell. Here we go. We're not quite there yet. I think they got another year before they have to do that, but I imagine that's what they'll do. Like, there will never be an Overwatch 2. They'll just keep adding to Overwatch.
And it's possible that they want to tell a bigger story, but they don't have the characters yet. And what they're doing, because we've gotten Moira. Sorry. We have Doomfist. What's his name? Not Grim Reaper. Reaper was there. They're slowly starting to hand us Talon characters, because we started off with all these Overwatch characters. We have Sombra, who we don't quite sure her motives are. Obviously, it's kind of like for self gain. Widowmaker is obviously kind of evil, but we don't. It's majority Overwatch, and I think
you're right.
And I think like once we have enough characters, once they added maybe 3 or 4, like if they in another year they gave us 3-4 new characters, then I think they would, especially if they're mostly Talon heroes, they would have something to play with then. And they could go and just add characters in the story and not have them as playable characters in the game. But I don't think, like, from the pattern we've seen, they don't really do that.
Well, see that, yeah, you're right. Like, that's the thing. Eventually, they're going to have to stop pulling heroes that existed before the game Overwatch came out, and do new heroes that don't pull from lore. They can be connected in some way, but don't have a previous. All the characters that have been introduced have a previous lore attachment to Overwatch. Even Tracer being the youngest of them all, because her first mission was kind of the beginning of the Omnic Wars. So if you look at Overwatch as a whole, when Overwatch the story progresses, it's when they add a new hero, and maybe that's what they're planning to do eventually. But you're right, they're building out the team, they're building out the bad guys, and Doomfist was a big one that was missing because he was referenced in the first trailer that came out. Moira is, as a serious, touches on the backbone of Reaper's character and everybody else in Talon who she affected. I assume she also had a hand in Widowmaker's transformation. Mm-hmm. Seems to be her style. But I continue to be excited about Overwatch, but not in the way I was hoping it would be, which is in game. Mm-hmm. I love the shorts, I love the skins, but I enjoy them from outside the game. That's where I'm at right now.
I gotcha. All right. Well, maybe next BlizzCon. Cross your fingers.
Maybe.
Here's what we'll do. We'll start a write-in campaign. And just you and me every day will write a letter and mail it to Blizzard.
That write-in campaign exists. It's called Reddit, and they or forums. They see this all the time. They know what people want, and honestly, I think that Overwatch is suffering from the same thing World of Warcraft did. Is that it was a really good thing that people latched onto, and millions of people are playing, and those millions of players have demands as a multiplayer game, and Blizzard is just trying to keep things trucking along, and that takes energy and time and resources, and it's kind of hard to move stuff forward in a different way that may not support the millions of players who are playing it.
Yeah.
I realize I'm an outlier when it comes to Overwatch. There's for every one of me, there's probably hundreds, if not thousands, of people who just want to shoot people and say, "Cheers, love, the cavalry's here," and then win the game. That's what people want.
Yeah. I agree with that. Because like you said, it's primarily a shooter. So, but that covers everything. Unless you want to go to other, we didn't see that mysterious mobile game
or the or the Warcraft movie sequel.
That's
I think we're
true.
just terrible at predicting things that don't fall within their categories. Blizzard's pretty predictable.
Yeah. This darn magic ball I had, I'm just gonna go smash it. It's
Yeah,
obviously
it's no good anymore.
useless. The goat soul I entrapped within it was obviously an amateur.
That's your problem, goats.
You're right. Should have stuck with, I don't know, cats or something. So I don't know. Do you think we're gonna get this mobile game anytime soon? Maybe Gamescom next year or something, because I'm really interested in what that is.
Yeah, the thing about Blizzard is that we shouldn't expect them to release. We should expect the unexpected from this company, because BlizzCon again is like, yeah, it's their main stage. It's where they're gonna announce their big things. It's like, well, not necessarily. Like, BlizzCon is just their ability to deep dive on all their stuff and not have to worry about time or energy or paying someone off to allow them to talk about it for a good amount of time. Like, when you do something at Gamescom, like, you have to pay for that time. You have to pay for the booth space. BlizzCon, they're still paying for it, but they get everything. They can do whatever they want. So with Blizzard and this mobile title, they announced Hearthstone at PAX, and it worked out really well for them, from what I remember at the time. Obviously, it's doing really well now, but I could see them announcing a mobile title at PAX.
Yeah.
Whether it's ready to go, who knows? But no news from what I understand, no news about like the think tank, no news about this mobile title that saw hirings. I mean, there were hirings for a new project in a first person engine, which people thought, oh, it's Overwatch stuff. It's like, well, we didn't see that, because Blizzard takes their time making stuff. Like, just because we saw a job posting 6 months ago doesn't mean we're gonna see something pop up at BlizzCon. It's gonna take time.
Yeah.
So whether we see it in 2018, maybe, because Blizzard certainly surprised us before when it comes to maybe the mobile or the MMORTS developers are for the Warfront stuff. Maybe we can do Warfront stuff for Battle for Azeroth, similar to what we were doing in Legion with our world quests, or whatever they were called. What were we doing? What was the
bonus
companion app in Legion?
Oh gosh, I don't know.
I could probably boot it up and it'd tell me I don't have a subscription. But anyways, maybe that's what it is. Maybe that they were hiring because they're doing something a little more expansive with Battle for Azeroth and allowing you to manage troops or something from your phone.
It's
also we don't know.
It's also that how many years did we hear about Project Titan before we got anything from that? It could easily be another Project Titan. Also,
it could be something we never see. So
it's true. Ryan, you can't tell me to expect the unexpected and then not expect Ironforge under a mountain somewhere.
I'm sorry.
I
guess you're right.
It's gonna keep me up at night. Well, I guess that concludes our BlizzCon roundup. What do you think? Good year? Bad year? I think it was a good year.
I think it was a good any year you get a new Warcraft expansion is a good year. I think if you look at what they stacked up, and honestly, watching the open ceremonies, watching Jeff Kaplan talk to his people, that was amazing. Awesome BlizzCon, awesome announcements. They've set up the next year of Blizzard content. And I think for people like me who love all Blizzard stuff to, within a certain degree, you can't look at this and be like, man, there's no way I'm not excited here. Like, I'm excited about 2018 and what Blizzard has to offer, because I want to go back into all of these games and play this content. So yeah, how this company queues this amount of content up each year is beyond me. Like, this is crazy, the amount of stuff they have here.
Yeah, they certainly do a good job of what they do. I had something I was gonna say. Oh yeah, I guess the one thing that makes this year better is Diablo 4, but we can beat that dead horse all we want. what was I gonna say? Oh, I don't know. I thought it was a good year. I thought it was. I was happy with everything that we saw. You know, again, they just. It seems like every year we get something really cool. It's like I leave every year excited.
Mhm.
You know, for
There's always something. Their routine now is like, here's a bunch of stuff coming out next week. Here's a bunch of here's some stuff coming out next week. Here's more stuff coming out before the end of the year. And here's a bunch of stuff you can look forward to early 2018. And here's some stuff that'll come out before next year's BlizzCon, but it'll happen next year. And that's sort of been their routine. And I think that with the scale of content they're offering over the next year, this is just, you couldn't ask for anything. Well, you could have asked for something Diablo, but other than that, you couldn't ask for anything awesomer than this.
No, it's true. It's true. All right. Well, I think it was a great year, a great BlizzCon. Where can people find you on the interwebs? I understand you've been busy.
Yeah, it's been a busy couple of months. You can follow me at rmurphy on Twitter, and you can check out the Gamers In podcast, gamersinpodcast.com. We're doing a big push for Extra Life. Extra Life actually took place on the 4th. A lot of people's game days were on the 4th, but you know, I can't do Extra Life on BlizzCon weekend. It's just impossible. Everybody I know that helps us out and plays games with us is at BlizzCon. Jocelyn, my co-host, was at BlizzCon. So we do Extra Life a week later, and we're doing an Extra Life stream on the 11th of November, starting at 10 a.m. You can catch us playing video games for at least 20 hours, if not more, on twitch.tv/amovetv. And we're going to have tons of incentives for people to donate. I can pull them up right now. Let me see here. So anyways, I'll just remember them off the top of my head. So with the Gamers In team, you can go to bit.ly/TGI Extra Life 2017. And that will take you to our team page where you can donate. Our goal is $2,000. We've already raised $840, so we're well on our way. And you can donate to any person on the team you wish. A lot of our players are playing for different hospitals. Jocelyn and I are playing for sick kids out of Toronto. And all of your donations, 100%, go to these charities. They go to help kids around the world, and it's a great cause. And honestly, Extra Life has already raised $7 million this year. So it's a big deal. Yeah. We're going to be streaming on the 11th. There's going to be participation goals for people. So I'll try to break this down as best as possible. So when you donate, you have a couple tiers you can hit depending on what you would like to do. $10 gets you entered into a raffle that will draw for every $250 we raise. And we have a bunch of cool games that you can pick up and play. $25 gets you to add a game to our wheel. So we're actually not playing a schedule. We're going to have random decisions for our games, and they'll go on a wheel. It's kind of like Price is Right or Wheel of Fortune, probably the
that
better
sounds like
one.
fun.
Yeah, so to start things off, we got to front load it with all of our favorites. And then over the course of the day, people can donate and they can suggest games they would like to see us play or games they would like us to struggle with. Because you honestly will have, our Steam libraries are filled with garbage. So if you wanted to have a little fun, you could certainly throw some garbage our way. But you could also I want you guys to play Heroes of the Storm again, so I'm going to throw Heroes of the Storm back on. $50 gets you to add a game to the wheel 3 times, which increases the chances of you landing on it, and it allows you to join us in-game on the stream to play games with us. And outside of that, every $250 we'll do a draw for a video game. And if you're looking for a little extra incentive and you're a fan of zombies, I also do Zombies Ate My Podcast, zombies8mypodcast.com. You've been on the show before, I believe, right?
Yeah, I think it was E3, after E3.
Oh, right. We talked games. And so if you're a fan of zombies, I'm doing a little side campaign there where if you donate to me, extra-life.org/participant/Ryan Murphy, or you can go to zombies8mypodcast.com/extra-life for more details. We got some really cool incentives there. For every $100 that's donated in the name of ZAMP, I will watch a season of Z Nation. It's something that people have been asking us to do. We just haven't been able to bring ourselves to do it. So I will do it in the name of charity. We're already at about, I think, $25. So another $75. And man, I'm going to be watching that lovely sci-fi or sci-fi stuff. But other incentives include a random draw for a signed copy of the Walking Dead official cookbook and a replica Lucille. So if you donate with Zamp in the comments, you could win one of those two prizes and maybe watch Z Nation. So I don't see what's bad in that picture for you guys. I see what's bad for me, but yeah.
Oh, dude, that's awesome. That's
Yeah.
awesome. And I'm assuming the Zamp streaming is at the same time as the A Move.
Yeah, so with Zamp, I'm part of Zamp and I'm part of Gamers In. So really, we're not doing any probably zombie content on the Gamers In stream unless something comes up. There might be a little bit of overlap there, whether we play Killing Floor 2 or something like that. Really what it is just to try and encourage Zamp fans to donate in exchange for extra content on the podcast. But that being said, if you do donate, a certain level for Zamp, you can also state what game you would like to add to the wheel. And you can donate anytime before the event, on the event. It's really up to you. And I know I've been talking a lot about it, but it is
No.
it is a big thing. It's a big deal, and we have fun each year, and we really appreciate the support that is shown from our friends, our family, and just people, fans of the shows. It really blows us away, the immense support that people open their hearts to kind of support these charities, and it's really awesome. It makes it's humbling every year to see how people just come out of the woodworks to help us out, and hopefully we'll just crush last year's goal or donation levels that we hit. We were over 3,000 last year, so we're hoping this year we can kind of go a bit higher. But yeah, we have fun, and I think the people who watch the stream have fun. I mean, it's like watching two people slowly melt over 20 hours, because when you play games, it sounds like a lot of fun, but once you hit like hour 20, hour 18, man, it's like you're melting in your chair.
Yeah, the before and after photos, like the hour 1 and hour 20 photo, like comparison photos are always they're always something. But
it's something that I need to do. Like I have to hand it to Jocelyn, who is usually on camera for the whole stream, because she's the one streaming it. I don't normally, like, my hour 24 face is just not present. It doesn't see the light of day. I usually take a picture. Hmm?
Oh no, I can't see you after 24 hours. Darn.
Well, I'm thinking, you've kind of inspired me. Maybe I do a before and after.
You know what? Make it a reward for a certain donation level.
Ooh, yeah, and I only send it to people
Exactly.
who donated. Like, here's what you did. You helped charity, but you also made my eyes fall a little farther down my face. Perfect. That's not actually what happens. But it'll be a lot of fun. The main links are bit.ly/TGI Extra Life 2017. That gets you to our Extra Life page. If you want more details, you can certainly go to the respective Extra Life pages on the Gamers In podcast website and the Zombies Ate My podcast website. But if you follow me on Twitter, it's literally all I'm going to be talking about between now and the 11th. And twitch.tv/AMoveTV. Follow that. Check it out. We are going to be streaming a lot that day. Oh, and my joke that I mentioned pre-show,
right.
We did a BlizzCon stream where we played games inspired by BlizzCon, but we didn't play Diablo because we figured we would fall in line with Blizzard's wishes to just not talk about Diablo whatsoever. So
Awesome.
that was the best joke ever.
Cool. Did you just refer to it as the game that shall not be named the entire stream?
Yes.
Perfect.
Yeah, we played StarCraft Heroes and Overwatch, and I found that I am terrible at Overwatch. We did not win a single game. So that was fun?
It's all right.
Question mark?
It's all right. Well, that sounds like an awesome event for an awesome cause. And again, that was November 11th at 10 a.m. Eastern.
Yes, November 11th, 10 a.m. Eastern, twitch.tv/AMoveTV. And yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. Like you said, it's a great cause. And don't feel pressured. Like, if you can't donate, we totally understand. Sharing the link, talking about our stream, joining us in chat, and just cheering us on. All of those are equally appreciated as much as a donation. Like, just Yeah, any support is super welcome.
Yeah. Well, now I just feel bad pimping myself on the podcast. It's like, oh, here's this great event for charity. But you can contact the show at collegegamershow@gmail.com. You can follow me on Twitter at BlueCals with a Z. If you go on Facebook, you can find us at the College Gamers Podcast. The pinned post is a link to our Discord. Check it out while you're in there. We're always right now. It's a lot of Destiny talk. It's a lot of Destiny talk. And if you enjoy the show, check us out on iTunes. Give us a 5-star review or wherever you get your podcasts from. And please go check out that Extra Life stream because it sounds like it's going to be a blast and it's for a great cause. So thank you, Ryan, so much for joining me. It was a blast.
Yeah, thank you for having me, and thank you for letting me talk probably way too much. So.
Oh no, it's never too much. Your sweet Canadian voice, it's like syrup to my ears. I don't know. Was that too far? It's probably too far.
No, I'm gonna allow it.
All right. Well, thank you again. And I believe that's a show.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank y'all for listening, and we'll catch y'all next time. See y'all.
Bye.
This has been a Blue Cow Radio production. Find more at BlueCowRadio.com.